How's it going, guys? I'm back after, I think, 2 months since my last video? To talk about Xenoblade again. We are about 3 days away from the release of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. As of the recording of this video. I don't know when I'll upload this, but hopefully I'll be playing Xenoblade by then. And I just wanted to get on here and talk about the story of Xenoblade 3. Because I haven't gotten spoiled so far. I've been avoiding spoilers like the plague. You guys should too. I deleted Twitter. I'm off of YouTube because there's copies out there and people are playing it and spoilers are running rampant. But before I play the game or get spoiled, I wanted to just put down my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in the story of the game. So that way, it's more just so I can see after I beat the game how accurate my guesses were, or predictions. And so, you know, when I do my playthrough, we'll see if I was right or not. Just a heads up, this video will contain spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, possibly Torna. I doubt I'm going to talk about that, but, you know, just throw it out there. And if I'm right, then this will contain spoilers for Xenoblade 3 as well. Also, anyone watching this, I'm only gonna talk about stuff I've seen from the reveal trailer, the release date trailer, and the Nintendo Direct. Those are the only things I've seen. I haven't gotten spoiled for anything, and if they've released any new trailers since then, I haven't seen them. So we'll just be talking about stuff from those trailers. And, yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so there's two parts to what I want to talk about. One, how I believe the game is going to play out and what the ending is going to have. And two, I think I actually figured out how Xenoblade 3 connects to Future Connected. Because if you guys don't know, when they released Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, they released post-game content with it called Future Connected. And now obviously every Xenoblade fan in the world was thinking, oh my god, Future Connected, this is going to connect Xenoblade 1 to Xenoblade 2, or oh, it's going to connect Xenoblade to the future of Xenoblade, like, you know, 3. But then when we played it, it didn't really tell us that much at all. But I think knowing what I know about Xenoblade 3 now, because back when that game came out, we didn't even know Xenoblade 3 existed. I think I know and understand what they're hinting at in that, so we'll get to that. But first things first, let's talk about how this game is going to play out. So if you guys don't know, the game takes place in a world that is a mix of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. Both the worlds have come together, and the main characters are trying to find the truth of the world and try to figure out who the true enemy is, because they're from two different nations, Kevas and Angus. And they're always fighting each other, but nobody knows why. Why are they fighting? And so they're going on a journey to figure out the reason why the two nations are always fighting. But here's the thing, right? I think I not only know partly why they're fighting, but how it's going to turn out. So let's just get into it. In the game, the characters can transform into these, like, demon robot looking things called Uroboroses. Now, in real life, an Uroboros is a snake or dragon eating its own tail infinitely. And it's meant to represent an infinite cycle of destruction and rebirth, Zanza, if you guys played 1. Or like just infinity, right? And so, as far as we know, that's just the power that they use. There's no significance in it aside from it being a transformation they have. But that's what they want us to think. Because remember back in Xenoblade 1, when you're meant to think that the Monado is just this, like, you know, sword, and it lets Shulk see the future, but you think it's something good, right? You don't think it's something bad. Sorry. And slowly throughout the game, they keep talking about Zanza this, Zanza that, and you're like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just, you know, something small, whatever. And then you get to the big plot twist of Xenoblade 1, and it turns out the Monado is Zanza himself, this evil god who wants to destroy the world and create it anew. And, like, you know, you're just like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Well, some people did. I think they're going to do the same thing they did in 1 with 3. Now hear me out. They're gonna make us think that the Uroboros is just a transformation, that it's just like, you know, whatever, and that the real goal of the game is to stop the fighting between the two nations. But as soon as we stop the fighting between the two nations, and we think we're at the end of the game and everything comes together, that's when the game is gonna flip on its head, just like Xenoblade 1. We're gonna get to the end of the game, and everyone's gonna be happy, and there's gonna be peace between Kevez and Angus. I keep saying Angus, Agnes. And then boom, something's gonna happen, and it's just gonna turn everything on its head. And what I think it's gonna be is Uroboros is more than just a transformation. I think Uroboros is a god, or some ethereal being that exists in the world of Xenoblade that is going to get resurrected or like brought into existence. I think whatever reason the main characters turn into an Uroboros, it might be Vandom. They're trying to make it seem from the trailers like it's that Vandom guy. He's the cause of them turning into Uroboroses. Was done intentionally to have them resurrect the Uroboros. Same way Dixon in Xenoblade 1 sent Shulk on his journey, you know, and helped him along the way, purely so he could revive Zanza. I think Vandom unlocks the Uroboros ability for your party, just so he can resurrect Uroboros itself, which I think Uroboros is going to be an actual thing, maybe even the final boss, and it'll be like a literal huge dragon or snake that is threatening to eat the world that the party will have to stop. That's what I think the final boss is going to be. It'll be Uroboros itself. The whole game you're using its power, and then when you finally resurrect it, both nations have to band together and work together to defeat Uroboros, and everyone's going to live in peace as one. But that's not all there is to it. Because the villains obviously aren't currently Uroboros. Currently, it is these red armored dudes, along with this Sephiroth-looking dude with purple horns, and the most interesting villain so far, this character, Mystery Mark Man, who looks like Noah. Now, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for you guys, but it's kinda obvious. You're not here if you care about spoilers anyway, to be honest. This is Noah. 100% this is evil Noah. Now, why is he evil? How are there two Noahs? I don't know. I think I know, actually. They could go with a cop-out answer, which I hope they don't do this, and it's just Noah's evil twin or something like that. But that's boring. Let's go with the more interesting theory, which is that this is Noah from the future, coming back to stop him from making the mistakes he made. And here's what I think happened. I think the story of this game already happened once, if not a bunch of times, over and over again. And that Noah and them journey out, and they stop the war, and like I said, Uroboros, this dragon god, gets resurrected, and they all have to band together to defeat it. However, in the original timeline, Noah and the party lose to Uroboros. He wipes them out completely. And I don't know if it's just going to be that they lose, or if it'll be something like all the party members are killed in front of Noah. But something traumatic is going to happen that causes Noah to, like, lose it. And then he's going to travel back in time and try to stop the party from resurrecting Uroboros and reaching Sword's March, which is like the Mechanist blade. And that's why this character, Evil Noah, exists. He's trying to stop Noah and the party from summoning Uroboros and destroying everything. But why does he have this evil-looking sword and stuff? Why does he have these powers? So now we're going to go into level 3 of my theory. I think that possibly we're going to go back to this gray-skinned, white-haired guy. I think he is definitely someone important because he's the only one other than Evil Noah not wearing that red armor. I think that he might be Uroboros itself in human form. Hear me out. I think that whatever happened in the original timeline with Noah caused him to change his ways and turn evil and try to destroy our Noah to stop him from summoning Uroboros. But why would he be working with Uroboros if he wants to stop him? I think that some way, somehow, Uroboros convinced Noah that he needs to work with him to destroy the world, to save his party. Or maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's just that Uroboros is holding leverage over him. Maybe he didn't kill the party members. Maybe he has them, or he killed them and he says, I can bring them back if you do my bidding. Some way, somehow, Evil Noah and Uroboros in human form are working together. And I think they're going to try to make it seem like this guy's not a huge deal, and then at the end of the game, he's going to be like, ah, my full power has returned, and then he's going to turn into a freaking dragon. But yeah. And then there's these red armored dudes, which I have huge theories about them. So, if you guys have seen any of the trailers or anything, you know that Noah has this, like, you know, red robot arm that looks like Monado armor almost, right? Now, I don't know anything about that or what it is, but what it does tell me is that Noah is creating armor that covers his body that looks like the Monado, right? Or like his blade, whatever. I'm calling it Monado armor. And it looks so similar to what these villains are wearing, these consoles, or whatever they call them. I think that Noah made this armor that these guys are wearing. I think that this is obviously a future version of Noah, who has a lot more knowledge and has progressed a lot further, and can make full suits of armor out of like this Monado-like material, this replica Monado material, and that's why they're all wearing these, you know, funny armor suits, because it's literally Monado armor that Noah made for them. But who are they? Why would they be covering their faces if they weren't someone that we knew, right? 3 theories on that. 1, these guys are the party members. These are Mio, Tyon, Uni, Lons, and Cena. Now, the reason I think that is because if this is Noah from the future, maybe he brought them back from the future with him to help stop Uroboros from being resurrected. Again, if my theory is right about that gray guy being Uroboros, then it wouldn't make sense they're trying to stop him. A lot of different colliding theories. Sorry if this video is all over the place. But if that guy isn't Uroboros, and they're trying to stop the resurrection of Uroboros, then this would make sense. But what makes it not make sense is that none of these red guys look like body shape wise, or sound like, or act like any of the party members. They're completely different. Now what could explain that is just something completely like, you know, random, like, oh, they lost their memories or they changed their personalities to make them evil. But, you know, the body shapes are almost too different. Another theory is that these might be villains from the previous Xenoblade games. One of these might be Mumkar, one of these might be Dixon, and they've been picked and taken out of different parts of the timeline to be put here to help Evil Noah achieve his goal. Now, the reason that could work has to do with how Future Connected connects into Xenoblade 3. So, I'm going to show you guys this cutscene from Future Connected. It's a quiet moment called The Future Is Ours between Shulk and Melia. And I'm just going to like show the important parts that I'm going to be talking about. But I think this cutscene is the main connection between Future Connected and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So here is that.
Not long now, father, brother. With these 2 hands of mine, I will reclaim Alchemoth.
Hey, Melia, are you nervous?
Do not worry, Shulk. I'm just a little heightened. Trembling with excitement, as Dumban might say.
That's good to hear. I suppose it's no great wonder, though.
How about yourself? You've been given a big role to play. Taking it in your stride as usual.
Well, I've been remembering our time on the Bionis shoulder. It hasn't been easy, but we found the refugees here. Got to know Teelan and so on. I'm glad we came.
I see.
If we can retake the capital, and then get ourselves back to Colony 9, that'll be us sorted.
Sorted? Huh?
That's right. We're just about there now. We've got this, you know.
I'm sure.
What's wrong?
Say, Shulk. Tell me, what are your thoughts on the rift?
Right. Considering everything we've seen so far, we don't really know all that much about it. I've never seen anything like it. The Fog King, I mean. It's alien to the Bionis and Mechonis.
Indeed. The rift is a complete and utter enigma to us. All we know for certain is that its existence poses danger. A wholly new threat. For a wholly new world.
Sounds ominous.
Are my fears unfounded?
To be fair, there's a lot about this world that's different. Frankly, it's anyone's guess right now. Does it bother you? The rift, I mean.
I have an ill premonition.
Oh?
Disaster. Complete ruin. Inescapably looming over our future. I know not why, but that is the vague dread that I feel when I consider the rift.
Hey now.
I'm sorry. I know we have a big task ahead. I'll try to keep my chin up.
It's okay. Your misgivings may just be a weird hunch. Or for all we know, they might come true tomorrow. But there's plenty more we don't know. The future. No one knows it for certain. Still, that doesn't mean we're entirely helpless. Our actions, they're what shapes the future. We've proven that countless times already. So I think we'll get through this. If we stand together, no power in the world can stand against us.
Shulk. I swear, you never change.
Oh, sorry. I guess I might have gone a bit overboard.
No, I don't think that's possible. I think your words have hit the mark exactly. The future is ours, and it is decided here. All we can do is give our all to build a better one. Indeed, whatever awaits ahead. I seem to be in your debt again. You keep doing this, always helping me when I'm down.
I didn't really do anything, though. I'm just happy I could lift you up.
My thanks. All right, then. We have crucial work to do.
Defeat the Fog King and restore Alchemoth, right?
Exactly right. Shall we?
So, in that, there is a lot to unpack. But in reality, it's not that complicated. I think that cutscene literally tells us how Xenoblade 3 is going to end, in a very vague, generic way, right? So, first things first, when they're referring to the Fog King, the premise of Future Connected is that Shulk and Melia are going up to the Bionis' shoulder to try to reclaim Alchemoth, and they end up getting attacked by this monster called the Fog King. And the Fog King is like this beast that came through some portal that showed up in their world. Now, as Shulk said, the Fog King is something alien to Bionis and Mechonis. It's something not from that world, right? And everyone was trying to figure out what the Fog King is, how it connects to Xenoblade 3, and coming up with all these theories, but I think it's actually pretty simple. Now, the Fog King itself looks exactly like a Guldo from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which are these monsters towards the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that are humans that tried to attain immortality by implanting blade core crystals into their brain cells. Now, they attained immortality, they lived for millennia, but they lose their sense of self and become these monsters. And they can be small, like humans, or they can be huge monsters like the Fog King. Now, I think a lot of people assume that they just used that model because they were lazy and didn't want to make a new monster, and, you know, they had a limited budget and time. I think that it's not as deep as all that. I think that the Fog King is literally a Guldo from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And the portal it comes through, the rift, is showing us how the worlds are going to come together. Somehow these rifts are opening up and bringing things from Xenoblade 2 into Xenoblade 1 and vice versa. And I think that's all the importance of the Fog King showing up through the rift is. I think it's just telling us that these two worlds are coming together. because that thing is completely alien to Bionis and Mechonis, yet here it is, through this rift. I think that was the point of the rift in Xenoblade Future Connected, to let us know as players that in the future games, these two games are going to come together, these two worlds. Now, back to what they said in the cutscene. As you guys saw, Melia, when talking about the rift, referred to it being, or when talking about the Fog Beast and the rift, referred to it being a wholly new threat for a wholly new world. Which is true. This is what we're going to be dealing with in Xenoblade 3, which is a new world, being the world that Shulk created at the end of Xenoblade 1. But when she talks about what she feels when considering the rift, she says disaster, complete ruin looming over our future. Now, that could be just referring to the fact that the two worlds come together and go to war. Or she could be seeing even further than that into the future and, you know, her intuition, whatever. And she could be sensing the fact that Uroboros is going to be resurrected and destroy everything, which is, you know, my theory about the ending of the game. And if that's the case, then, you know, it makes sense, because if that actually happens, then that's what Melia is sensing right now. Complete ruin, disaster looming over our future. It's going to destroy everything. And if there is a future Noah, like I think Evil Noah is the future Noah, he's from the same timeline as Future Connected, I'm assuming, like the main Xenoblade timeline. Then he came back into this new timeline to change things. So Melia might have hit the mark like 100%. The future probably got destroyed and completely ruined by Uroboros, and then Noah went back into the past, and you know. And then Shulk says, our actions shape the future, which is very true. Because a lot of times in Xenoblade, it's these villains that seem like, you know, they can't be beat. Like, no matter what, you can't defy them. But then every time the main characters defy destiny, they defy fate, and they defeat any obstacle that's in their path. Now, I think that cutscene is literally just Melia telling us that something horrible is going to happen, or Uroboros is going to destroy the world. And Shulk is telling us how the game is going to resolve. If we stand together, no power in the world can stop us. That's how 3 is going to end, I think. I think it's literally going to be, they resurrect Uroboros, it starts destroying everything, but with the power of friendship and working together and standing together, both nations as one, they can defeat the Uroboros together. And the reason I think for sure that Uroboros is like an entity, it's not just a transformation, is because of what Melia herself says in Xenoblade 3 in the reveal trailer. She says Uroboros abhor this world. Now, if you guys watch the reveal trailer, you know, just like me, like, that line is stuck in my head. But what does that really mean? I had to look up what abhor meant. And it means to regard something with complete hate or disgust. So Melia is more or less saying Uroboros hates this world. Uroboros is disgusted by this world. Which makes me think even more that Uroboros is a real thing. It's not just a transformation, and it is going to be resurrected, and it's going to try to destroy the world because it hates the world. I don't know why or what part in this the worlds coming together plays. Maybe Uroboros is trying to bring both worlds together so he can just destroy everything. I'm not really sure on that, why the worlds collide in the first place. Because it'd be one thing if stuff was dropping from one world into the other. Like, if it was just, oh, things from Xenoblade 2 are coming into Xenoblade 1's world, like the Fog King, that would make sense. But we've seen in trailers that it's literally both worlds mixed together. It's not like stuff dropped in one world into another. No. It's literally areas from each game completely merged together like they had always been that way. Like, stuff is just growing over other stuff, and the two worlds are collided. So, whatever reason these two worlds came together has something to do with Uroboros itself, this huge dragon god, I'm guessing, and his need to destroy the world and rebirth it over and over again. So yeah, that is how I think Xenoblade 3 is going to play out. I know that might have been a lot, and I was talking pretty fast, and I was a little all over the place, but, you know, this is mainly just so I can see if I was right or not, and have it on record when Xenoblade 3 comes out, because I'm so sure that, like, most of what I'm saying has to be right. Like, I'm very confident in the part about like Uroboros being evil, because in the trailer too, the silver-haired girl in the release date trailer sees the party as these shadowy black figures and is like everyone's after them because they're the evil Uroboros. And so it's literally going to be like Xenoblade 1 again, where the whole time you're the bad guys, you're the ones who need to be destroyed. Whatever your party does, it's thanks to them that Uroboros gets resurrected by the end of the game. The whole time you are the ruin bringers, and that's going to be crazy. So yeah, we'll see what happens when the game comes out, but until then, you guys avoid these spoilers, and we'll see if I was right or wrong. I really cannot wait. This game is going to be everything. I will say, though, I hope that I'm wrong. I really do hope that I'm, like, not 100% on the mark about these things, because Xenoblade 1 obviously caught me way off guard. I could not guess what the story of that game was going to be. And in Xenoblade 2, I thought I could, because I played 1, but still threw me completely out of left field, and I had no idea what the ending was going to be. So I'm hoping that in Xenoblade 3, my guesses are wrong, and that it's something that I have no idea about, and it's going to be like some crazy big reveal. But we'll see. Until then, I will see you guys later. I'll catch you guys for my Xenoblade playthrough in a couple days, I hope. Peace out.